This is my co-host Gloria, who's going to go through all the essentials for planting from seedlings, and then I'm going to take over and show you kind of how to cheat if you want to, and not have to wait so long, and you can get right to using some herbs and spices and get right to it. So with that, Gloria, take it away.
Thank you. So today, everyone, we are going to basically do a countertop herb garden. So this kit is going to have your mason jars, your water stones, some labels, perlite, and the soil. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take your mason jar, whatever size you like. This one is 12 ounces. So you want to go ahead and put it down on the counter. The first thing that we're going to add to the jar is going to be the river rocks.
Yes, and if you remember from the previous episode, what's really important about putting rocks or some sort of other big aggregate substrate at the bottom is to ensure that there's proper drainage so that it doesn't keep all the water at the roots, which can cause basically the roots or the plant itself to suffocate, and it starves it for oxygen.
Okay, you want to add about 1/2 inch, depending on the size of the jar. If you have a larger jar, then you're going to go between 1/2 inch to 1 inch. The next step is going to be your perlite. Okay, the great thing about perlite is it's going to help you wick the water from the stones into the soil. So you want to add same thing, about 1/2 inch, depending on the jar size. This one's 1/2 inch. We're going to add 1 inch if it's a larger jar. The next step is going to be your soil. You want to fill it all the way. Leave about 1/2 inch from the top. That's where we're going to actually put the seeds. So you want to continue adding your soil until you get to about 1/2 inch from the top. What you do next is you want to take your seeds. Now remember, with the seeds, make sure to read the back to make sure that you are actually following the instructions so that the seeds grow at the best potential. So you want to take your seeds. Now remember, you want to spread them around. Don't bunch them all together because you don't want to do that. You don't want to cluster. So you want to sprinkle them throughout the top. Separate, give some space, 1/2 inch. Should be good. Okay, once you do that, you want to top off the jar with the last bit of dirt. So the final step in the process is to water your jar. So you want to go ahead and continue pouring until you see the water reach the bottom of the rocks. So once we do this, you want to add your top, and you want to put on your label, whichever label you prefer. Add it to the jar. Take a Sharpie or a pencil. Write down the name of the herb. This one is rosemary. Delicious to cook with. Once you're done, you have officially started your herb garden.
For your in-home patio, windowsill, or whatever, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a method to take already established plants so you can begin using them straight away, right from the get-go, and just trim them back and use them for whatever dish you have in mind. We went ahead and we stuck with the potting soil, or this soil and the substrate underneath, and then a little bit of perlite. But basically what you want to do is gently remove whatever herb you got from the container. This one happens to be spearmint, and what I like to do is once I'm going to get ready to plant it back in here, I'll put what it is right by it. So basically what you want to do is firmly grasp it at the base and just kind of give it a squeeze. And sometimes if they're really hard and they haven't been well watered or anything from the nursery, what you can also do is lean it on the table and give it a push and a roll, and so you're squeezing it together. So once that happens, it should just nice and evenly pop out. And then what you want to do is, once you have this, you want to kind of give it a little love around the corners and scratch everything up so that the roots can, start to already break away from their containment and get a little more aggressive and start looking to grow different places. So what you do is place it in this container. It's a little tight for it, but you can go ahead and use each corner, because I'll show you something nifty. It's a tiered, it's a stackable pot. So basically you can get a lot of plants in and have it in your windowsill or on your corner or whatever, and you can maximize your space. So we'll go ahead and put a couple in real fast. All right, so once we got them set in here, what we're going to do is we're going to go back in with a little potting soil and get it in there. Firm them up. And what you want to do is water them back in just a little bit before you put the other ones on. So here's the trick. Is you got another one what you can do, because it's a tier, but you gotta place it right and you gotta get it in between your plants. And try not to squish anything. But then it locks in place like so. And we can go ahead and plant a couple more. I already cheated and I already put all the stuff in here so you can have it on top. We'll plant 4 more really fast. If there's any exposed roots like I have on this side, you want to go ahead and fill it back in to not have them exposed, because you can fit them in place, but you don't want to be too forceful so that you smash it completely. So if there's anything exposed, bring it back in and fill it back in, and then just follow the steps, water them back in, and then keep an eye on all of them. Since they're already established, these you can go ahead and use maybe a little bit of fertilizer every so often. Not right away when you plant them, because they already have a lot of nutrients that are stored in the containers, usually when they come from the nursery. But other than that, you have a fully serviceable herb display, or herbs for your cooking or whatever needs you have. There you go. Okay, as far as watering requirements and sunlight and positioning in your house or your wherever you want to be able to put them at, like the seeds, follow the directions, and most of the directions are on the back of the labels. You know, the things that you can keep track of which herb is which. So what you want to do is find what if they need full sunlight, like this one for the spearmint needs full sunlight. So you want to keep it, you know, close to a window, or at least someplace where you can move it to get sunlight. Keep it on your patio. And as far as the watering requirements go, a lot of people will use the hydrometers, or basically something that'll test the soil, but you can visually check it, and you can also, you know, do the finger test and see if it's damp, or see what's going on. You want to be able to water it probably, you know, at least once a week, depending on how much you have it outside and what type of sunlight it is getting. But you can also notice stress signs in the plant, that if it's getting too much water, like actually like this one out in front here, it'll turn a little chlorotic, which is yellowing. So that one maybe got a little too much water in the nursery. So basically, just, you know, as long as you follow what's on the back of the tabs here, and you keep an eye on your crop, it'll continue to grow. So thank you.